Hi, Jerry.
Allie, I noticed it's you. Want to just sit with me? Okay.
The meeting will now come to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our military. Thank you. Debbie, roll call.
Good afternoon. Donna Mosier. Ed Weiner.
Here.
Susan Muniak. Here. Brenda Owens.
Here.
Lemaine Eifert.
Here.
Barry Burgess.
Here.
Jennifer Smiley.
Here.
And Beverly Hastings.
Here. John, proof of notice?
Yes, Beverly, notices have been posted in accordance with your documents and Florida statute.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the disposition of prior minutes? Second. Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And motion carried. Okay, Russell Rogers, Art Committee.
Good afternoon. It's on? Yeah. Hello.
You're
There we
there.
are. Russell Rogers for the Art Committee. We met Monday morning. All members were present. We reviewed 13 architectural requests, and we approved them all after several phone calls, after we finally decided what people wanted to do. We have 13 there for your approval.
Thank you. Can I have a motion?
I move that we approve the 13 architectural review forms that were received.
Can't hear you.
Hello? Okay. I move that we approve the 13 arcs that the committee recommended.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, Russell. Okay. Clubhouse restroom facilities. Lemay, that was your suggestion, so you
It
want
was
to,
my suggestion, John, you were going to check into that for us.
Right, so in your packet, that we have an estimate from the local plumbing supply place to, have a count of 4 toilets that would need to be replaced. That proposal would go up just a little bit because we're gonna alternate, maybe we might need to replace some extra seats and some, we might use a different wax ring for the installation.
Okay,
Try again.
that's it.
So, that price of $1,929 would probably go up less than $100 with one caveat. There is one toilet that's high, but it doesn't have the bladder. We're gonna try to take the bladder out of one of the smaller toilets that's being replaced, but if we have an issue, we may need to install another new toilet, so we can go up to 26, 27 if we have bad luck.
go ahead, Lemay.
So John did look into this and the total is at this point $1,929.95. So at this point, it's still under $2,000. If with the extra $100, we might go just over. And I'm sorry, but for a 55 plus, I think we need to hire commodes, put in the toilets. I make a motion that we accept this and go forward with replacing the low toilet.
May I,
Speak on it, go ahead.
may I make a suggestion that we say that the funds for it will come from the furniture and fixtures reserve?
Okay, can we add that on, Debbie? Funds will come from furniture and fixtures. It is a throne room after all.
Barry, do you have something you want to say?
Yes, I was just, to John, I would suggest from my experience, you go ahead and replace those parts. I wouldn't try to reuse parts. I think you're asking for trouble.
Larry, it wasn't to reuse, it's to use a better quality part than the plumbing supply was offering us.
I know, but I thought you said you were gonna take a part out of a toilet we had to,
We've got a bladder that we put this year into one of the other toilets that's still relatively new, so we're gonna try to reuse that.
I would still suggest that we replace that. I think you're asking for trouble with the price.
Okay, can we take a vote? Oh, I didn't realize that, Ellie, I'm sorry. I didn't see your hand.
Yeah, I just want to confirm what we're saying. You're saying the $1,925 is the total cost, or is that the cost for 1, 2?
No, it's the total.
Total cost for replacement of 4 toilets in the, that's not that price.
No, it's not. John,
That's just for the materials. Staff will be doing that in-house.
Our staff.
Well,
Right.
they're gonna replace them themselves, so there's no labor involved. Right. All right, thank you. I just was curious. That's a good price. All right.
thank you, Ellie. Okay, can we vote? You want to just clarify it for us?
You have approved Ferguson for parts for ladies' restrooms in the amount of $1,929.95 to be installed by maintenance staff, payable from furniture and fixture reserve.
Thank you.
Just the ladies?
No, there's one man, one goes in the men's room and 3 go in the ladies' room. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried. Excuse me. The spectrum proposal, we are not, I want to say right now that we are not voting on this today. We have, Debbie has some copies of what would happen if we go with this. And we have to get an attorney to check it out as well. So there's a lot more work that has to be done before we can vote for this, either no or yes. So just want to let everybody know. So if you want to be able to to check, compare apples to apples, then come and get one of these so that you can see what you would be getting for the $50 a month. Okay, Ann, you have something to say?
Yes, I do. I don't know if any of you checked 72309. Unless your documents specifically give you, the board, the authority to choose the cable company and force everybody to get it, you cannot do that. It has to be in your documents. Also, 72309 section B, if someone is hearing impaired, which many of our residents are, legally blind, get food assistance, or get an SSI, a supplemental to their social security, they do not have to pay. So I'd like to know what account you're gonna take that out to pay for all these people? Or are you gonna tag on to the $50 a month for the rest of the residents to pay for those that aren't paid?
And could you please repeat where you got this in your?
It's 72309. That part is section B. Actually, if you'd like a copy of it, I printed it out.
I have it, thank you.
Okay. So I think that this probably needs just to be canned because you really don't have the authority to make the residents get any kind
Okay,
of
we
cable
are-
company.
Sorry, Ian. We are going to the attorney to have it checked out, and I'm
Well,
sure.
why waste the money when the state law clearly states that? It has to be in your documents. Why are we now gonna be, the residents' money is going for an attorney when you can easily look it up like I did?
Okay, Donna, you have something to say?
This is to John. Was that not part of what you sent to me? Because we're in the condos, so we already have a contract with Spectrum. And my management company was trying to say that they could not make us take the new package since we already had one. But I think according to the rules that you sent me, POSCA has the right to overrule the condos on that.
So, there's two things, right? We're talking about supporting to an attorney for a review. We've already done that once. We're talking about potential second opinion. The first legal review, I basically said that the board does have the authority to do this in
It's
72309.
going against my 3 minutes.
72309 does, and I'll read from 72309, this is the section that Ann must be missing. If the governing documents do not provide for such services, the board may contract for the services and the cost shall be deemed an operating expense of the association.
Thank you, John. And in answer to your question, Ann, it's not going against your 3 minutes. I didn't even put this down yet.
Well, but you didn't continue reading yours either, John, where it's per parcel. So, also, we have on our monuments, when you come into our development, it has no soliciting. And they used to be hang under every village sign until somebody decided we didn't need those anymore. So why are we paying our manager to allow solicitors to come in here when we're a no soliciting community? From what I understand, it was the cable company last month that came in to solicit. Now it's the Spectrum person came in to solicit. Is it gonna be Jake from State Farm or the Geico Gecko next month? I mean,
They
we are
did,
no
number one,
soliciting.
Ann, they did not come in, they emailed.
Well, but
Right,
that's,
John, am I
it's
right?
still soliciting regardless of how they approach us. It should have been stated, we cannot solicit our residents for any of these services. That's not what your job is. I'm sorry. We have a facility here that needs to be taken care of and the grounds. It's not to bring in outside services for people that, there's a lot of people that just don't want this. I'm sorry. And I was told by a board member, even if I didn't want it, I still had to pay for it. People are getting away from cable because they can stream things.
I know, I don't have cable.
And then
either.
you have seasonal residents that aren't here for 6 months. They're gonna pay for 6 months of a service that they don't use. I think you really need to rethink what you're doing. And if you change our documents that give you the authority to select cable company and any other service in here, just remember, we're all grandfathered in from the old documents.
Okay, May, you have an answer for her?
First off, as far as solicitation, if someone comes to the board or to our manager to present to the board something that could be for the betterment of Timber Oaks, it is our responsibility as board members to look at what is offered. That is our job. You were on the board, Ann, you know that.
Exactly, I know, this would have
I'm
been on
sorry,
the agenda.
I didn't interrupt you, Ann.
I thought you were done, I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm not
But
done.
I would not have.
And the other part of it is, we are, at this point, we aren't looking to do anything. We are asking the lawyer. We are not thinking that we know everything there is in these books. We are asking the lawyer what we are allowed to do, what we are not allowed to do. That is where we stand at this point. We have made no decisions. We have gone with nothing at this point. We will look at it and we will see what all of the residents need, not just the few. We will see what everyone wants. That is our job.
And we paid for an attorney at the last meeting. An attorney was contacted and the board, somebody on the board said the attorney thought it was a good idea. Nobody made the comment that said the attorney said it was legal.
Okay, so we know, can you hear this or no? We know that we need to go to an attorney for a number of questions. We also know that we have the right to do it. However, we need the attorney not only to explain in detail some parts of it, but also to see if the agreement is written in the company's favor or in our favor. We have the right to look at this. We have the right to go to an attorney for it. We are not voting on it now. We have not made up our minds. So please, you can express your opinion, but don't say we're doing things we shouldn't do.
Ellen Malilly, 4019. I know at the last meeting you said you were going to send informative information out to all the residents so that,
It's right here, you come right up and John will give you one.
okay, so everybody can get a copy of that.
Yes,
That
if you
breaks-
want
That
it.
breaks it down exactly.
Yep.
And of course, you would come up to me if you came up with the residents' feeling on it and then talk to the attorney. But anyway, the attorney will probably say it's okay to do, like someone said, it's his opinion, but you gotta follow through with it. But so this is not gonna happen this month. We're gonna wait till the mailing goes out to everybody so that.
There won't be a mailing. This is it, right
So the
here.
residents don't know that.
It was,
How can you expect everybody to make it?
they can come into the office to get one.
Oh, so you're gonna send a robocall out informing them all of that, or?
It was on the agenda.
And Ellie, we will have,
That's
you
not
can
an
post,
answer.
Ellie,
It's
you
on
can
the
post it on
agenda.
Facebook.
You can post it on your Facebook.
I will
site.
post it on Facebook. I mean, we will get it out as much as we can.
Okay, so you've decided against a mailing, wouldn't Spectrum maybe pay for that if a mailing went out with that document saying we're considering this?
Ellie, we have not decided what to do yet.
Oh, okay.
Once we decide what to do, we'll determine how to get it all out to the people,
Okay.
to let them know what's going on. Right now, it's at the board level. We're just talking about it,
Okay.
all right?
Because as I say, we did mention it at the last meeting, so if I don't see it in writing, it takes me forever to analyze it and call in my board, which is my kids. But I do know that, do you know that other places are doing that and saving money too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ellen,
Ellen Baldwin, 10602 Springwood Drive. I was looking at your document and I need clarification on page 2. Is this the one you're doing, the bulk proposal, Spectrum Select TV and Ultra 400 MPG? On the internet?
Yes, that's the
Okay.
one that we're,
What I need clarification on, it says $50 per unit per month. Are they counting the unit as being the TV and the?
no,
household.
per
That's
household.
how- Okay, thank you.
Rob?
Rob Sitneski, 10539 Farnham Court. I just wanted to point out some facts. Well, I'm sure the board is aware of it, but just point out some numbers here. This is a $1 million contract. $1 million.
You can't hear you.
We're looking, I'm sorry. This is a $1 million contract we're looking at. Which is approximately close to what our dues are. One of the questions I have, several questions I have is, first of all, have we solicited any competitive proposals or talked to any other companies regarding this?
John, can you answer that?
I haven't.
Okay. Will that be in the process as we evaluate this?
There are no other cable companies in the area. Frontier has pulled out of doing TV.
Okay.
New contracts with Frontier. They've gone to Dish with Frontier. For all the new accounts.
Okay, so Spectrum has a corner on this market then. Is that my understanding?
Yeah, I guess so.
Is that the only company that we have available to us? Because in just listening to some other members, I'm getting the impression that this is a take it or leave it offer.
Your impression is right. It's all or nothing. That's why we're researching it so fully.
Okay. Have we talked to other HOAs about their experience with Spectrum? Or, I mean, specifically talked to other HOAs about their experience?
We have a number of condo associations that already have contracts with Spectrum, who have gotten bulk contracts, and it's saved the condos a lot of money.
Okay, condos as in Timber Oaks condos?
As in Timber Oaks condos.
Okay. But no HOAs outside this environment?
I'm sure there are, but we haven't researched that yet.
Okay. Lastly, what I'd like to say is that while the investigation can take place, I would like to have this really tabled until all of our membership returns. There's a lot of snowbirds here. And I'd like to have this discussion tabled until the January board meeting. Now, if there's any updates that can be provided on Facebook or whatever venues we have online, that's fine. But I think we need full membership here to evaluate this and have further discussion on it.
We're not voting today.
No, I understand that.
Okay. Yeah, we're still just trying to discover and see what this is gonna be, if it would be beneficial to us.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I guess one of my questions is, and I'm sorry, Deb, I didn't let you finish. Go ahead.
No, that's all right. LeMay is gonna talk.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Your suggestion about waiting until all the snowbirds come back, I think if we do that, we set a precedent, and I don't think we can do that. I mean, if you want to come down to it, we should have waited then and made decisions about the pool and when it was done, when the work was done, when the snowbirds were here, since it will affect them more than the rest of us, or as much as the rest of us, but their time here. This board is here to represent Timber Oaks. Some of us have been snowbirds, some of us are year-round. I don't think you can wait for any decision made by the board to wait until the snowbirds are here to vote. If we do, January, February, and March will be loaded down with all the decisions this board has to make. Feasible, there is no feasibility in it. Sorry.
I beg to differ with you. This is a $1 million contract. This isn't a $10,000 lighting project that sits out on the pool. This is $1 million. And I like to have the membership think about that also. I think there's, you have to meet middle ground somewhere. And I think there is a difference between having full membership vote on something versus maybe a $10,000 project for lights.
One, Rob, if we wanted to do this, the board said right now we were gonna do it. We could do it without a vote of the membership. And as to, I am a snowbird, which you know, I am a snowbird and I do not deserve special treatment just because I only am here from October to May. We don't deserve special treatment for that. We pay an equal amount as any other senior or family does, and that doesn't mean we get special preference. And I know when we were talking about putting the pool, when we were talking about putting the pavers and all this, I've gotten a number of calls from full-time residents saying, please don't do it in the summer when everybody wants to use the pool who lives here and doesn't have the opportunity to have a pool, that they don't have their own pool and that they don't have friends in a condo that has a pool. So, I mean, we do not deserve special treatment.
I'm just looking for as much input from all the members on this major contract. That's all I'm looking for.
Okay.
I'm not,
We
I
thank you
don't
for your
wanna,
input.
I don't wanna judge anything as far, a project like putting in new toilets in the ladies' bathrooms. But this basically doubles our homeowners fees.
We realize that,
Thank you.
and we appreciate your comments. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Hello, I'm Ellie Sumer, and I'm actually the president of Chateau Village 1, 2, 3. And I just heard about this yesterday. And, my first instinct was it seems like the HOA associations within should have been notified of what was going on simply because, we have already approved our budget. And we will have to amend it, which I'm sure won't be that big a deal. But I think should have taken the time to individually notify each association. I don't know if that's out of line or not. That was my feeling. But on the note of the actual proposal that I've heard of, to us, it will be an advantage to us as a condominium association. We have snowbirds. Our snowbirds pay for it anyway already. The fee is no higher than what we're already paying, so it works for us. For my first thought was people who don't already have contracts, they're now going to be doubled and they can't take it away from somewhere else. I think that'd be a hardship, but that's a different issue. I did hear that there would be some kind of a substantial rebate per unit if we do sign this contract. Is that correct? I heard there was a rebate per unit would be given 30 days after the contract goes into effect. It's rebate.
Yeah. John, can you answer that, please?
So this is standard in the Spectrum business. Any HOA that signs and executes a contract would normally get a $100 per unit fee returned to the HOA.
Okay, so that's 100 times 2,000. I'm not good at math, but that's a big number. My question was, what happens to that rebate? If this does all go through and everything gets worked out, it seems to me that rebate should go into the Spectrum fund simply because we know it's going to rise every year. Every year it's going to go up. So what are the intentions of that rebate as far as the board is concerned? Is it going to go into a Spectrum fund? So maybe the next year when it does go up, that increase will be covered by that rebate?
We are still researching this. I will repeat it again. We are still researching this. So we have no idea what any rebates or what we would do with them or anything. We are still in the process of discovery. You know, when you're in a lawsuit, you do discovery to find out what's going on. That's what we're doing.
Well, would the intent be, I mean, is that something that should be presented as an option if this does go through, that you would that be, it seems to me that that would be the thing.
We haven't even made up our minds about this yet, so I don't know how to answer that.
Well, that's,
I'm glad that you brought it up. You know, I'll take note of it for when we're,
okay, well, while you're still in the research part, I also wanted to, Matt, find out if I know you had said that anybody can come and get this and see what's going on, but no one I've spoken to knows anything about it, and I realize we are derelict by not coming to meetings, and we would have known if we had, but there's 2,000 people in here, and how many are in here? Is this a 0.5%? No. And then what he had mentioned about mailings, I really feel too that
there's no
There should be.
mailing. We're gonna put it on Facebook and all of the places. There'll be word of mouth. You can come to the office and get one of these if you want to know about it.
Okay, well, would it be reasonable to ask that you would at least contact presidents of each association so they can trickle it down to their members? Would that, I mean, I know it's a pain to make those calls, but just so that we can inform our people.
Okay. We'll take that into consideration. Go ahead, Donna.
First of all, like it was just saying, when the agendas are posted, everybody has a notification as far as what we're going to be talking about. And it specifically states right here, spectrum proposal update on the status. That's all it is. It's just an update. But like you were saying, I live in Fairway Villa. Anita, our vice president, is sitting right back here. I have talked to our manager. We have a 5-year contract through Spectrum. The only real difference between this contract and the one we're paying for now is the DVR. And we may get a few more channels. I have sent this information on to our management company so that they can overlook it too. See what they can do. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, John, isn't Spectrum going to buy out any condo contract?
There wouldn't be
Or this-
there wouldn't be a buyout. They would void the existing contracts.
Well, that's it. If we could just get each association to be able to be kept in line. I will now follow up, and I admit my derelict not being on top of it, but everyone in my association shouldn't suffer because I didn't get the information. Thank you for your time and your work.
Thank you. You're welcome.
My name is Julio Loyacano, Vice President of Complete Tip, and seems to be an awful lot of resistance to this thing. And I think I keep hearing, we'll ask the lawyer. Perhaps you should be asking the residents instead of the lawyer, because we're the ones that are going to pay it, right? Personally, I don't think we need it. I don't think that each condominium complex should be forced to change something that they already have in existence. I really don't like being told we make a decision. You represent us, right? Ask the people, not the lawyers. There's a lot of resistance to this thing. Think about that. Think about the fact that Spectrum is not doing this to save us money. They're doing it to put money in their pockets. Keep that in mind.
Thank you. Okay, one more. This is the last one we're gonna take on this.
Hi, I'm Anita of Fairway Village. I'm the president of the Rec Association, which covers all 5 fairways. And yes, we do have a contract. And I personally only pay $24.99 a month. I have extended cable, I have computer, I have a cell, but I still have a landline, and I pay $24.99. Why would I want to pay $50? Plus, yes, we have our own contract, which that person that we have our contract with has nothing to do with that sales lady that you guys dealt with. She's just out there selling her product. So I don't think, because we follow 718 rules, and I really don't think we plan on doing any changes, but that's within our own 5 fairways, and I believe Dollar Lake also, just to let you know.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sure, go ahead.
I hear a lot of people who are in the condos or who have their own associations coming up to complain because they don't want to do this, because they've already got a contract and they are already getting good prices. That is not the majority of Timber Oaks. I, for one, have Spectrum, and I've gone through numerous cable and dish and everything else. I do not have a contract for $24.99 or $50. Right now, currently, I am paying $188 a month. We are talking the majority of the residents, not those who already have contracts, the majority of the residents. We are asking the lawyer for legal advice. After that, we will get an idea of what the residents want, and we will vote according to that, not according to a few people who come in or to what the lawyer says. And we will spread the word and put it. If this board meets twice a month, our agenda is up. There are board meetings to come to. It is not our fault if people do not pay attention or do not care what is done until it's too late, and then they want to complain. We are doing the best we can, and we do it for you.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to say that when we are up here, we would appreciate it if the residents would not talk amongst themselves. Thank you. Okay, moving right along. The attorney review.
Okay, we have sent out feelers for new attorney representation. We have received all responses from the ones that we have sent out. At this time, I would like to propose that we give that information to all of our board members. Ask each board member to go over the information that's provided from the different firms. Pick your top 3 and get that information back to Ed, Donna, and I so that we can winnow it down to the top 3. And then ask them for a presentation or either in person or video. So I move that that's our next procedure.
No, we don't have to vote on it.
Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving right along. What?
This is on this subject on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay, I would like to ask the board members, when you're researching for attorneys, are you specifically looking for HOA attorneys?
Yeah.
Because right now, we have one that's used a lot, that it's only 30% of his law practice. So it would definitely be just an HOA attorney.
It would be one that specializes in HOA.
Specializes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Billiard room. Update on the flooring replacement. Go ahead, the ones that went, Sue, you went and.
Yes, Donna and I went to ProSource and brought back samples of both hard floor, laminate and carpet. So, and they're in the office for anyone, for the board to look at. I think the big problem now is deciding what we want to do. We know that it's been the person who does the pool table, who we bought the pool tables from and replaces the belt, has told us it's best for it to be, the pool tables to be on carpet because of the sound. If a ball drops on a harder surface, it's more likely to break or whatever the pool balls do. And also the sound. We also want to consider the fact that we were thinking of allowing food and the half and beverages more than the food on the half of the floor that's by the poker tables. And there are a couple of things that happen with that.
Go ahead, Donna.
One of the issues we were talking about is maybe putting linoleum over where the poker tables are and then keeping the rest of it the carpet. The only problem we're gonna have with that is the carpet is very thin and the linoleum is thicker, and we would have a transition strip to go there, which would cause a tripping problem unless we put in a little retention wall thing there. Kind of break up the area, or just do it all in carpet.
Go ahead, Levine.
I know the person who's putting in the carpeting, for those of you who aren't aware, it is carpeting squares. And they're saying that we should do the whole room. You can do the whole room, and if there is a mess with any type of spill or anything, they can replace the square or clean it. My problem with that is it doesn't designate the area where you are allowed food and drink. And that area is more on the side where the poker tables are. I would prefer to say, and we're not doing linoleum, it's more laminate flooring.
Yeah.
So there is more of a transition, but there's transitions everywhere in the clubhouse. So I don't see where that's a real big tripping hazard. And I would prefer to have the laminate on one side, more or less to designate where food and drink is allowed, so that the glasses, plates, whatever, are not carried over into where the billiard tables are. And I don't see where that's a big problem. I think it actually will look better aesthetically as well.
So I think that even though it would not be a large transition, but it's probably a quarter of an inch, I'd say, between the thickness of the laminate and of the carpet, with no other demarcation. People will be walking without, when you go through from one door to another, you expect a transition. But if somebody is going the other way, and there is that much, there are a number of people in our community who can't lift feet, who can't, and more than else, they kind of shuffle. They know when they get to a doorway that they have to be careful, but it will be too easy for people to get and then trip over the difference.
I can't really say that I agree with that, and the other end of that is I don't expect those people to be in playing pool or playing poker. If they play poker, they go in the one room. I think there is no way we're ever going to stop tripping hazards. You can look at anything and say there's a tripping hazard. Right now, we have a carpet down that covers some cords. That's a tripping hazard. We just cannot, I think we're making a mountain out of a molehill, to be honest.
Any more board comments? Go ahead, Ed.
Well, I went and looked at it, and I think the idea of using the laminate with the poker tables, and it does, by doing that, it would make a separation from where they can have food and where they cannot have food. Certainly don't want anybody putting a cup of something on a pool table and having it spilled on the pool table. So we do have to keep the food away from the pool tables. But I think that by separating it, poker guys can have their beverages and the pool guys can have the carpet. And kind of takes care of all the issues.
Sue? Another possibility for separating, if we do carpet the whole thing and then put up what's called a pony wall, a halfway up wall, and leave a space in the middle between the two sides so people can walk back and forth. But that would definitely give a definite definition as to where A and B are.
Anna.
And if we did the transition wall, like she's saying, we could still do the laminate on one side and the carpet on the other. we would have that cut off.
Go ahead. The other thing we have to consider is the cost of installing the laminate and the cost of the laminate versus the cost of the carpet squares. And we know how much it would be to carpet if we were to use the one estimate we had of the whole room. I think that was about what we paid to install, if I remember correctly, install the laminate in the library. So if you figure that if you stretch the library a little bit so it fits the width of the other and the depth, that we'd be doubling. Well, if you say the half of the room would be half of the thing, we'd be really increasing the cost by doing the laminate.
Go ahead, Ed.
I think with carpeting, having the carpeting in there where they can spill food and drink on it, you know, you can clean it. You can replace the squares, but it's not gonna look the same. I mean, with wear and sun and everything else, that, yeah, I think that the laminate is a better idea myself.
My memory serves me correct.
I have the budget.
Excuse me, we can't hear what you're saying.
I said I have the budget with me and I will look it right now.
Is there any other comments from the board?
The only comment I have is I realize we're putting down carpet squares, which to be honest with you, I think are cheap looking, but I still feel laminate and carpet, whether squares or however they want to do it, although I don't see a reason why squares that can be replaced would have to be used if you aren't having food and drink in that section. Although I do realize around the pool tables, there is more wear, but this comes with what, a 10-year, the carpet comes with a 10-year guarantee, is that correct?
And Jen was right, it is, we budget on a 10-year cycle for that carpet.
Okay, Rob?
Rob Sadusky, 10539 Farm Court. I think OSHA has standards for trip hazards between different floors and whatnot. And I think that's probably the easiest way to satisfy this trip hazard problem. And just another thought, I know the vinyl laminates are extremely resilient. So when the guys do drop their balls, it's just gonna.
The pool, well, yeah.
The vinyl laminate will absorb some of the shock from.
I personally feel you should just carpet it. I think that laminate, I have laminate in my bedrooms and I find it more work than having carpeting, which is in my living room. And I think for a maintenance standard, I think it'll look nicer if it's all, and not squares, but I don't like squares of carpeting, that's cheap. So my opinion is you should carpet the whole thing and be done with it.
Janice Finger, 14116. I know you don't want to hear my opinion, but I agree with LeMay. And the whole idea of the laminate was so that the poker players could have snacks and drinks in there. So if you go with all carpet again, you're defeating what they've come in and requested from you. So, you know.
You're right. Go ahead, Jerry.
Jerry Beers, Monterey, 3326. The only thing I say is I don't care what you do, but if you're going to change it so that the people can play poker back here, just change it now because you're going to replace the carpet. So, and then make up your mind.
No, I think with Jerry, I've spoken about this with Jerry. Already we could ask the poker players to go in there because at this point, we're replacing that carpet anyway. So I think we should make a motion to allow food and drink in there at this point on the side where the poker tables are.
You want to make a motion to that effect?
I would like to make a motion that we allow food and drink in the billiard room on the half where the poker tables are.
Second. Any discussion now? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, that motion is carried. That will give us a little more time. Yeah, to figure out what, because we really haven't, we just looked at the carpet.
I wasn't able to unmute that time. Okay, thank you. Okay, so where are we with this?
We'll have to research it more because we haven't really seen what the price will for the laminate and what,
So we have a price.
right, to see what we're gonna do. So
Did
we will
everyone
take-
follow
Sorry,
where we are at this point?
we're going to get more estimates for doing a portion in laminate, and then we'll table this, right?
Right, table it until further notice.
Question,
Yes,
I think we should, if we put the laminate down, use the same laminate that we're using in the library, so we don't have to pick another color.
that is a good idea.
If they still have it.
We didn't get that in.
I think if we're going to look at laminate, I can't remember the name, but I have a laminate that is in my lanai because I have a lot of plants there and I water and tend to overwater and it gets all over. We need to look at something that is waterproof.
Which is what is in the library is waterproof.
All right.
Okay, pool project. The review of the tile options for the coping. Okay, yeah, we need to have this decided by the end of this meeting so they can order it as the board.
May I make a suggestion that the board, after this meeting, go in and vote on which of the tiles you would prefer?
Good.
And we'll go with majority rule or whatever, and then we can call the place so that we have them in time, so everything will work.
John, you have something you want to say?
So LeMay still wants to take a look, but we might already have it. We still want you to look though.
Okay. Okay.
There's one other question on the pool. They need to order the tiles for the coping. And the paver, the coping that is paver on the top of the other stuff. I would like to make a motion that we keep it the same tile that we have now, rather than a contrasting.
Second that.
That's what we had decided before, but we had to order.
Make sure.
And the last board voted to do the same pavers for the, that part. And it was supposed to be ordered at the same time that those tiles came in so that it matched. That's what the board voted on. The previous board.
Thank you. The installer just wants to make sure that we have not changed our minds.
What was that?
I said we never change our mind.
Okay.
Okay.
That we say,
Yeah, we're worried.
I think that was already voted on by the previous board, so that should just carry through.
okay.
Same papers, yeah, you don't want anything contrasting.
Okay, so we're moving right along. Facility security, John?
So just to tie up the tile thing, we're gonna, whatever board members, I think it's just LeMay, but once we get the majority after this meeting, we'll make that order this afternoon.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, John, can you handle the facility security review of the ADT contract, please?
So the board previously made a decision to keep the facility open for 24 hours, which negate the need to have surveillance after hours. Our contract is, ADD is going to stick with the terms of the contract, which I believe it expires in about 13, 14 months, and they want us to pay the full amount.
Didn't we have a buyout in that?
What's the cost that we're looking at? Do you know off the top of your head?
It's just over $500 per month. We don't have to buy them out. They're just, we could if we wanted to, or we could just keep making the monthly payments, but it doesn't expire until either December or January of next year.
That's the 36 months that we signed up for.
So apparently there's no decision to make, there's no vote, we are tied into the contract. And at the end of that 36 months, they have been told that will be the end of it.
We would have to follow the terms of the contract. I think it's 60 or 90 days before the end. We have to find them in writing.
Okay. Can we notify them now?
We can, and we probably will again in 60 days. Well,
Let's
unless-
notify them
unless
now.
after the
and they
election.
have- Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
So my suggestion would be don't let them know now, because after the election, the new board can make a change and we may start from scratch. So there's no pressing need to do that now.
Okay.
Jerry?
Gary Beers, Monterey, 3326. I know when we were looking, when I was on the board, there was a buyout. The guy did tell us there was a buyout. And I think it was like half the price of what we had left. But there is a buyout clause in there.
Go ahead, Sue.
I have the copy in front of me, and it's the term of this agreement and of each individual premises shall automatically renew for successive one-year renewal terms unless we receive written termination notice at least 60 days before the end of the current term. In the event that you terminate this agreement or any individual premises prior to the end of the then current term, you agree to pay us, in addition to all other charges due prior to termination, the charges remaining to be paid for the unexpired portion of the term of this agreement or of any individual premises. So it's,
Why did we sign?
Ask the president.
Was it? Okay, maintenance of foreclosed homes, the determination of enforcement with finding process in place. John?
So just the one question that I have. So at the last meeting, the board made the determination to proceed with maintenance when necessary on homes that we have started the foreclosure process, right? So after that meeting, and after I started giving it some thought and talking amongst others about this, and doing an inspection to see which ones that would apply to. Now, I realize that they're going to get to our violation process before they get to our maintenance process. So to me, it probably makes sense to let that play out before we start, go through the violation process, go through the finding process. Because right now, one of them has exhausted, there's two that it applies to now. One has already exhausted the finding process, one is at the beginning stages of the finding process. So the question is, do we wait until the finding process plays out, or do we start the maintenance at some other point?
I think when we spoke about last time, that was our decision that we couldn't, because if we go in and do the maintenance on a property that we are in the process of finding, we have no reason to find them if it's been cleaned up. It was to wait until they were in foreclosure, to wait down the foreclosure. And then clean them up and add that to the foreclosure cost.
But it still doesn't answer the question. Right now, there's two that are in the foreclosure process that we would do maintenance on. One of them has started and exhausted the finding process. We're no longer finding them. They need maintenance. What your decision applies to them 100%. The one that just was at Liz's meeting this week, at the last meeting, that her committee decided to enforce the board authorized fine, that's at the beginning stages. That will begin, the fines will start on that home when the time limit, Debbie can probably answer that question. But we're at the beginning stages of $50 per day up to a maximum of $5,000. Do we start the maintenance now? Do we wait until they hit their 5,000 mark?
I think after they hit the top of the finding is when we would assume that maintenance is necessary.
I'll make a motion that we only do maintenance on homes that are in foreclosure and have finished the finding process.
So are we still fining when they were put into foreclosure?
Sure.
And then we just added into the foreclosure? I
Correct.
see. I thought once they went into foreclosure, that was the end of the fining. How long can, how long
Finding
can
stops
that
at
go?
5,000.
Yeah, so
If
depending on the
$50
fines.
a day,
So if they're being fined for 5 different offenses, they're $250 a day.
Well, but,
It would still be, yeah, $50, 5 offenses, it would be 200.
go to the 5,000.
It's 5,000 for each offense?
yes, it is.
Yeah,
We could have houses sitting here for years and not,
no.
No, because we're not going, once they're in the finding process, we're not gonna go back and start the refining process again. And most of these foreclosures are not because of finding. They're because of not paying their assessment. They're two separate things.
I still think at $50 a day, John, we're talking, what, 1,000 days?
No.
100 days, I'm sorry.
Good question, isn't it?
Yeah,
So just to add a little more clarity, so the only two homes that this applies to are homes that have been abandoned. So not only are they not living there, they've stopped paying their fee, which is why we're starting the foreclosure process, but there's no maintenance being done to the house. So it makes sense that these two homes are falling into this category. And it'll probably for always be a small number of homes that we're having this conversation
was Sue's motion seconded? It was, okay. I think we can go with that at this point. If we say it's not handling the problem, we'll have to look at it again.
John?
So I don't know how much clarity we need if this wants to be an official amendment to the motion from the last meeting. And if not, if it's just a new motion, we just throw in there that it's Timber Oaks foreclosure and not.
That was in the prior motion. I made sure that was stated. I need clarity though. Are they abandoned homes, John? It really just needs to be clarified.
All homes that Timber Oaks have started the foreclosure process
On abandoned homes?
after the finding process has been exhausted.
I don't think it has to
My
be
question-
abandoned.
It can be any, yeah.
Any home?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, do you want to clarify that for us?
It was moved and seconded to perform maintenance on homes that are in the foreclosure process and have exhausted the finding process.
Put Timber Oaks foreclosure process. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Okay. New business, fines and suspensions. Go ahead, Sue.
I'll make the motion that we fine 8034 Merrimack Drive, $50 a day, up to $5,000 for violating the lawn and landscaping.
Okay, do I have a second?
Restriction, deed restriction, sorry.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay,
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And motion carried.
I move that we fine 8215 Harbor Drive for maintenance of the driveway, for violating maintenance of the driveway, $50 a day, up to $5,000.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that we fine 10709 Footprint Lane, $50 a day, up to $5,000 for not following the deed restriction of maintenance of the driveway.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carried.
I move that we fine 8021, the owners of 8021 Juarez Drive, $50 a day, up to $5,000 for not following the deed restrictions of maintenance of the driveway.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that we find the owner of 8030 San Bernardino $50 a day up to $5,000 for widening the driveway with no ARC.
All in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that we fine 8115 Merrimack Drive, the owner of 8115 Merrimack Drive, $50 a day up to $5,000 for the not following the deed restrictions on lawn and landscaping.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that we fine 11140 Pepper Tree Lane for $50 a day up to $5,000 for not following the deed restrictions on parking on the driveway. But for not parking, or parking unapproved vehicle. So there would be an unapproved vehicle.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
I move that we find the owners at 8535 Woodcrest Drive, $50 a day, up to $5,000. Again, for parking an unapproved vehicle on their lot.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
One more. I move that we fine 11122 Pepper Tree Lane, $50 a day, up to $5,000 for the maintenance of the exterior of the home.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Seawall project. John?
So we're looking into making repairs on the seawall outside of this facility, and I was hoping to have 2 additional proposals today. Currently, we only have the one, and probably shouldn't table this until we have one.
Okay, we'll table this to the next meeting. Okay, monthly bus service. Prices have gone up a lot. John, you wanna?
So we just received notice from the company that provides the transportation services. We have 2 weekly trips. One trip, the short trip currently costs Timber Oaks $253 per trip. Cost will increase to $330 at the beginning of the year. The second trip, which is the longer trip, we currently pay $387, and the increased cost would be $540 per trip. This would go up, the price changes take effect January 1st.
Go ahead. Do we have numbers on how many people are using the service provided?
In your packet, Debbie's provided you with a spreadsheet that shows.
That's all that use both
Right
of them?
now, anywhere from 12 to 15.
So there's 13 residents that use
Yeah,
the
12 to
service.
15.
Question,
It's for them, but
question, Debbie.
Yes, ma'am.
Does this change when more of the seasonal residents come back?
It's hard to really determine right now because last year with COVID, there was such a less amount of residents who were on the bus. And this is pretty steady now. So this is pretty, and no more than ever 20, no more. For the height, it would be 20.
John, go ahead.
You know, the bad thing about doing away with it is a lot of these people don't have transportation and they really need it.
Go ahead.
I see no reason why we would do away with this. Can we cut back on it? Maybe do the Publix trip one week and the Walmart the next week, do it alternate weeks?
you do that now.
That's how it is.
That's how we do it
Every
now.
other Thursday. Like tomorrow, it would be Walmart. Next week, it would be Publix. The following week, it's Walmart.
So we're paying $870, we're paying $1740 a month for this?
Right now, 16.60.
That's a lot of money.
Okay, John.
Yeah, so I don't have the exact figures with me, but I think you're talking about going from maybe 17,000 a year to about 25, 26, 27, something like that.
And you have something you want to say?
We might be better off paying somebody's Uber costs. And have a bus come and
And if you
13
be an Uber
people.
driver for these people.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Donna?
What if we were to cut back instead of doing the 6-hour trip, just keep them at 3-hour trips? Because you're only talking a $50 increase. And what about a,
That means you would just go to Publix, not,
no, could we not do the Walmart for 3 hours also? Instead of doing a 6-hour trip at Walmart, or a 3-hour trip at Walmart? Or
have you ever
3
tried to
hours
go to
at Publix?
Walmart for 3 hours?
Yeah.
No, I mean, to get in and get out, you know, with the, with the
Six
elevator.
hours? That's terrible. That's like going on a field trip. Yeah. Barry figured this out. On the 6-hour trip to Walmart, you're talking $41.53 a person.
Wow.
On the 3-hour trip to Publix, you're talking 25 something, 38 a person.
That's why I was saying if we do 3 hours at Publix and then a 3-hour trip to Walmart instead of a 6-hour trip.
Would another option be to not have it weekly, have it bi-weekly? Bi-monthly. Yeah, I'm sorry, bi-monthly. Yeah, I'm sorry. Every other week, have a trip. I mean, would that totally upset all the residents?
Does the
that do this
Walmart,
every week?
does the Walmart bus only go to Walmart?
So,
They have, yeah.
yes, Chris?
I don't
I've
think,
taken time to ride the bus. And when they go to Walmart, they also go to the mall. And when they go to Publix, they go to Save-A-Lot.
Very interesting. Hey, Jerry, you have a comment?
They have the
Jerry
hours.
Beers, Monterey, 3326. Did Chris shut it off? Jerry Beers, Monterey, 3326. I'm just saying, it's like, you're comparing this for people that really need it. And we have a wood shop that we sit back there and spend tons of money for a couple of people a week to use. And you're debating back and forth on some seniors that really need this to get food I'm sorry.
I don't think we spend $25,000 a year on the wood shop. And we're not saying get rid of this, we're just trying to figure out ways to save some money on it, because I think that's just ridiculous.
Go ahead, Ann.
Anna Singer, 14116. Are there other bus services out there so we could do some comparison shopping?
We've tried that the last.
What about a limo is cheaper than that? A limo's like $100 an hour. They could just take them, drop them off, and then later go back and get them. Or why not have some type of a buddy system where people can adopt a senior and get them to the grocery store, where whichever they wanted to go to Walmart or something once a week? And I mean, I pay my private, car insurance that will cover who's I'm transporting in my car. So it's not going to be a liability on Timber Oaks if I adopt a senior buddy. I did this in the when we lived in Napa, California. And the city of Napa wasn't concerned about getting sued.
The other problem you have with taking someone is their disabilities. Some of these people are using crutches, wheelchairs, and you have to be able to transport all of that. I think it's asking a lot, and I think it's something Timber Oaks has always offered, and I don't think it should change. I think we need to maybe look at this and check into some others, although this is a Lucas limo.
Right, well.
But I'm sure there are other.
Right, and for $25,000 a year, spend a little more and buy our own bus.
Right.
Yeah. Chris Dabrowski, Tapestry. First of all, the bus drives around Timber Oaks. They only have an hour and a half, whether they go to Publix or Save-A-Lot. They have an hour and a half in the store. It's drive time counted as part of the time, and then you got to take them home. And furthermore, this is not a kneeling bus. It's not wheelchair capable. They literally pull these people up the steps on the bus. It's not well fitted. And these people do buy so much food that it's all in the aisles because there's no place to put it. It's unsafe. That's the first thing to correct your misconceptions of what the bus is. When they go to Walmart, they get a little bit more time in the store. Again, he's figuring an hour to pick them up and an hour to deliver them. And they don't need to go every week.
But this is, my understanding is it's not every week. It's 1 week to Publix, 1 week the 3 hour, the next week the 6 hour. Why can't it be the first week of the month, do the 3 hour, the second week, do the 6 hour? I think once a month, you should be able to pick up your groceries or go to Walmart or whatever you need to do. Yes, can we cut it down to 2 trips a month? And can we look at other solutions? I mean, you're pulling people up the steps.
My name is Barry Bloom. I live at 8130 Los Alamos Drive in Oak Forest. I've been in Alliance for 51 years. We've helped other organizations acquire a bus for their community. And a bus usually runs around $40,000. Buy your own bus, handicap, load. Sometimes it costs a little bit more, but we're talking in a different time right now. Everything's going up. My suggestion might be to contact some of the charities you have in the area and see if they can help you with a grant. The Lions Club, they file a grant through Lions International under Lions hang on a second, LC, Lions Club International Foundation, LCIF. They give out grants to people who help the handicapped, the disabled, and the seniors. We also do things like diabetes check and other kinds of health care, eye exams, etc. The money's not totally there individually, but each area, including the Rotary, including churches, they have foundations just like the Lions do. And you could acquire a bus strictly for helping seniors get around your area. The only cost you'd have is the bus, insurance, and somebody to drive it. So consider that in your planning. Thank you.
Thank you. So I just did a little math. If I'm correct, the maximum it could cost us, because we do it every other week, not just twice a month. The maximum it could cost us, figuring that the extra weeks are all the more expensive week, would be $23,040. If we changed it to twice a month, the first and third week of the month, and not worry about the fifth week, it would be $20,880. So we're not even, we're only saving 2,000.
What if we cut out the mall trip? Just go to Walmart,
Just
not
go to
the mall.
not the mall.
There's nothing there anyway. That way you could maybe cut the 6 hour to 3 hours to Walmart. You're not going to the,
3 hours.
Yeah.
3 hours a month.
right.
Well, you're discussing, twice a month, I know I've already spoken, but if you let the residents that use this, if you let them know that the weeks that you won't be busing them, they can get their groceries delivered for $10.
Thank you, Ann.
And both Walmart and Publix will deliver.
Yeah, I think we should do a little more research on it.
Your options.
Right.
Don't the grocery stores now, you can phone them in for, and those that, I know a couple of personal friends that calls in, and the daughter-in-law does the calling in and the list, and then they just ring the bell, and then they put it in the garage, or they take it, and he's very pleased with that service. Because actually committing to taking I've been told in the past that the time involved that we're talking about means, because people are somewhat disabled and hard to get in and out, that he has to help them carry the groceries in the house. He has to help them get off the bus. So it's not just the time spent there individually, but the time that the bus driver has to put in.
That point was already made by Chris Dombrowski.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So maybe the
I
whole
think
concept
part of
needs to
it-
be looked at, I mean, we've had residents here that say that they would like to be more actively involved, helping these things. Maybe they can help them make the list, phone it in for them, and do that. I don't know.
Thank you, Ellie.
I guess they just like getting out, though.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too, is the socialization.
Yeah.
If we do this, like, one the first week of the month, one the third week of the month, like Publix and then Walmart, my calculations comes out to $10,440, leaving it the way it is. If we do, what we're paying now would be $22,620. At $10,440, doing Publix the first weekend of the month, and then doing Walmart the third weekend of the month, We're talking $10,440. I don't see a problem with that. And like I said, in between, if you need groceries, you can have them delivered.
Right. But are you talking the 6-hour Walmart
Yeah.
trip, but not go to the mall?
You can do, well, we can cut that to 3 hours. The mall has nothing.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying, it's kind of a waste.
Yeah. Even 4 hours to Walmart.
Yeah.
Would be great. That would even be less. So I think we just need to cut down on the amount of times they go out.
I agree.
Excuse me, Chris Dabrowski.
Mark.
Is a transportation for any disabled person. They do a coupon book. One coupon on the way to there and one coupon on the way home. It's $10 to get you to and from. I used it when I had the surgery on my right foot. And they allow the person to shop in the store for 3 hours. That's cheaper. That's cheaper than $350 for one trip.
So I suggest we table this discussion and get a little bit more information
By the
by the next
meeting.
meeting. Agreed?
Okay. Okay, the office copier lease. Sue wants to handle that.
I make a motion, sorry. I make a motion that we do a lease with, it's Able Business, but it's Great American Financial Services who we have the lease with, but use Able Business Systems, and we would get a different machine, which is a little bit slower than the one that we have, but it will be $278.30 plus tax a month instead of $325 plus tax currently. And that we will go with the option of we pay for all the color, because if we pay for all the color, it's 3 cents a sheet. If we don't, and we get 250 color sheets free, then any other color sheets are 6 cents a sheet. So, and we probably do, Debbie, what, 800 a month? At least.
It was just for this board packet alone. It was 800 for all the copies and stuff. So there's quite a bit. All the deed restriction letters, the finding letters.
So it is much better for us to go with the 3 cents a sheet rather than getting 250 free. The black and white, we don't have much problem with. Rarely do we go over the amount for black and white. So I use.
I'll second.
Sure.
Debbie,
Yes, ma'am.
you have the other machine. Do you have any objections to what's being proposed now? You think it'll work well?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, she's the one that needs to.
Right.
Yeah, happy.
That's why I asked her. I asked her which one and what before we.
Okay. Can you just clarify the motion?
We're going to contract with Able Business for the lease of the CS4054 copier lease for $278.30 plus tax a month, and to continue with the color sheets at 3 cents per sheet.
Thank you. Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, that concludes, oh, sorry, we don't have any correspondence that anybody have any correspondence? Okay, we all
I
set?
make a motion, we adjourn? Never mind.
Chris Dabrowski. 4 weeks ago, I was supposed to be on the correspondence. When you, at the last meeting, didn't have me on correspondence, you promised me that I would be on today.
I forgot.
Well, it don't work. We
I know, I'm
have
sorry. My
3
apologies.
kids living on Quimby. They are registered to that address. The grandmother has the guardianship of these kids. There's no end date to when they're going to get out of that house. They've been there 8 weeks that I know of as of the 11th of this month. And if you let it go from the time that I told John, who knows the exact date that they moved in, it'll be December 3rd. They need to leave. I don't care the reason why they're living there, nothing. The kids need to go. This is a senior residence area.
What is December 3rd?
It's
8 weeks.
That's 8 weeks? That's 8 weeks from the time I told John.
Okay.
But actually, from the time I know they've lived there, it was the 11th.
Of November?
Mm-hmm. John knows the exact date.
And are these listed as being in residence there? John?
They're registered at the school with that as their legal address.
So I only know really one thing about this subject, right? And that is that Chris was instructed, once there's a violation, to follow the board policy, submit that violation with details for the board to review to become an agenda item. We've yet to receive that.
I mailed you an email. Don't sit there and dispute that you didn't get an email.
I responded to you.
Right.
So you have
Yeah.
already sent a letter out?
8 weeks. So they can have kids there for 8 weeks. Right.
There's no violation at this time.
Not until
So-
December
So the
3rd.
instruction back to Chris was, once there is a violation, follow the board policy, submit that violation with details to allow the board to review the matter. John does not know any exact dates. This is all that John knows.
Thank you, John. We need to vote on that to send, no, okay, so after the 8 weeks, we'll send the violation letter. John,
We don't have anything to substantiate a violation unless someone submits something to substantiate a violation. I personally have not seen a kid. No other member of the staff has seen a kid. We've only heard about this through a vague email from Chris. We don't have anything. We need details. We need specifics. We need something for the board to review. After it's a violation.
after it's a violation.
Excuse me, I would invite any board member to come to my house at 7:15 in the morning. You see the kids going to school every morning. I'm not putting up a security camera and monitoring the comings and goings in that house. They've been living there. The neighbors all know about it.
Okay, John, you have something to say?
This is also the exact same direction given to other members on that street for other children.
Okay. Okay, is there any more? Barry?
Chris, what's your address?
One 10624 Tapestry.
Are you close to Driftwood Village?
No,
Are you close to the apartments?
no,
Where are the kids standing to pick up the bus?
they're not being picked up. They're being driven to and driven home.
Okay. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought that bus was picking them up. I was gonna find out about that for you.
Can't hear what you're talking about.
I said I certainly do not appreciate the attitude that was brought here. No one here has been yelling back or talking disrespectfully to anyone else that came up here. So I don't appreciate it. That's all.
Go ahead, Barry.
I'm sorry, Chris, one more question, Chris. What, do you know what ages about they are?
Are they young? One girl is about this tall, another child's about like this, and another child's like this.
Okay, so possibly 2 elementary and 1 middle school. Okay, I'll check on that.
Okay, having no more discussion. We have a motion, right? All in favor of adjourning the meetings? Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion, meeting is adjourned. We have open forum if anybody's interested.